TechBait, Crypto Blogger, Mr. Excitement here. It is early in the morning, and it's Tuesday. So it's Tuesday, May 15th, 2018. Okay, there it is. Just saying Tuesday doesn't kind of mean much, does it? Especially when someone watches this video at some point in the future. Well, actually, everybody's going to be watching it at some point in the future. So Bitcoin, we have 8744, Ethereum 732, Neo 68. You know, I never did buy that VeChain. I never got to do that transaction. I've got the Ether sitting in two different wallets, and here it is at 506. I know, I should just get it, right? I wanted to get it at 459, and over the weekend I just didn't get the time. I did not get the time to do the transaction, and you know, it was Mother's Day weekend. I don't dare take out my computer during that time. My wife will freak out. As it is, she doesn't understand this stuff. I take out my computer, she thinks I'm playing on the computer. I'm playing on the computer. Stop playing on that thing. You know, that's what I get. Stop playing on that thing. She doesn't realize the serious business I'm doing here for the future of our family. You know, the moves I'm making now can potentially pay off big time in the future. But you know, to someone who doesn't understand this stuff at all, it just doesn't matter. You can't explain it. So anyway, VeChain is at 506. Right now I'm basically playing chicken with the price. Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? You know, in the short term. Of course, long term I'm bullish on this thing, but or I wouldn't have any. But what am I going to do? It's 1.85% for the week, but we also know that it's dipped down a lot. You know, a lot. You know, relatively speaking. You look at the 7-day chart here, even the 1-day. Well, no, that was probably all. I mean, it's been like, kind of looks like one of those, like it's been as low as 426 recently, May 12th. So like 419, but then right now, it's kind of high. I mean, at some point it was 534. Right now it's 510. So, you know, I'm looking at this. You know, I really, you know, I'm just penny pinching now, which is probably stupid, but I'd like to get it down here rather than up here in this micro range, if you will. But ultimately, I'll just get it whenever. If I think, you know, we'll see. You never know what's going to happen. I don't know much yet what's going on with Mt. Gox. It's still hovering out there. So, yeah, I've been looking at the news here on TechBait, and you know, the conferences, consensus is going right now. I still don't see anything. You know, I don't know if there will be anything mind-boggling coming out of that, but I did notice this story: Joe Lubin and Jimmy Song make a Bitcoin bet over blockchain magic dust. It's funny. Here's Jimmy Song, this guy with the hat, and here's Lubin in the middle. Lubin is big with Ethereum. He's like the co-creator of Ethereum, and Song is a Bitcoin Maximalist. He's a developer, and well, they're both developers, so software developers. But now, this guy Song is always. You can look on YouTube. He's always out there doing these YouTube shows with Tone Vase. Tone Vase is another well-known Bitcoin maximalist. And basically, to a Bitcoin maximalist, only Bitcoin matters. And I don't understand. I find a hard time understanding people like this. You know, they consider like Bitcoin the only true crypto. I mean, I understand it was the first one, but it's like they're like, well, this is the only innovation here. That's what they think. And I mean, I know that Tone Vase, for example, is always saying Ethereum is a scam. He thinks anything except Bitcoin is a scam coin. I mean, I don't understand people who think this way. And so Lubin here knows it. He knows what Song and Vase are, right? So they have this thing, this person here, this woman who's on stage with them. She, I'm assuming that's her. She, where is it? I'm assuming her name is Amber Balde, former blockchain program lead at JP Morgan, right? So she's an ex-JP Morgan person, and she had unveiled her new project, Clover, a decentralized app or DApp store that gives users access to projects tied to both public and permissioned, more enterprise-focused blockchain networks. So she brings them up here, and basically she asks Song what he thinks about Clover, and he says, I didn't see anything other than buzzwords. You know, there he goes, right? And there he goes pissing in everybody's cornflakes like these guys like to do. I think he's been hanging around with Tone Vase a little too much. So then he says, well, basically, centralized enterprises and supposedly decentralized applications. And he calls it magical blockchain dust. Now, look, I understand what he means there as far as, like, you know, you got decentralized applications, DApps, you've got the internet, you know, the whole idea of decentralization, and then you've got these centralized companies that are coming into the space, and it's like, well, you know, I understand the whole idea that, well, you know, you're taking this decentralized thing and then you're basically centralizing it with this company that controls it or whatever, and I get that. Okay, so I'm not saying that Song makes no sense at all, but knowing what him and Vase and people like that really think about everything other than Bitcoin, you know, because I mean, you know, Bitcoin is not a company or a corporation, I get it, but neither is Ethereum. I mean, there is an Ethereum alliance with all these companies involved, corporations are involved with it, but I mean, what they do with Ethereum itself isn't a company, as far as I know. Like, there's the Ethereum alliance, but Ethereum, it's, you know, I don't know how to put this into words anymore because it gets a little weird. So, you know, Lubin basically said in the next 5 years of cryptocurrency innovation would see nothing but Bitcoin 1.0. And Song said, I don't really see much of this stuff gaining much traction. So, you know, these two sides are never going to meet, is what I'm trying to say. These two sides are never going to see things the way each other sees things, you know. So, but you know, Bitcoin Maximalists, they're always there. They're always there. I try to see things from their perspective, and I get some of what they're saying, but, you know, I think they go a little too far. You know, basically when guys like Tone Vase are sitting there calling Ethereum itself some kind of a scam, and that it ought to be outlawed by the SEC, right? And then, you know, I see Jimmy Song basically there shaking his head or tacitly agreeing with it, you know. That's what I think. Every time I see Jimmy Song in public open his mouth this way, that's what I think of, because I've seen him in other venues or whatever. So, anyway, this other thing was interesting here. GoTenna launches a Bitcoin wallet that works without the internet. That was interesting because basically what this is these, I guess these two people, these are siblings. They're from Brazil. And they founded this wallet, Samurai, I guess takeoff on Samurai. And it's an Android app. It basically uses this like weird disconnected network system called Mesh to communicate So basically what happens is if you don't have an internet connection, but you have one of these mesh devices, and supposedly there's other people out there with these mesh devices, it forms like an off internet network, right? Like a parallel network of sorts. And basically when you use this device, I guess it simulates an internet connection for the sake of whatever you're using, whatever app or device you're using, and you can do stuff, but then it kind of syncs up later. It kind of sends it out there, and when it hits another mesh device, this stuff can bounce off each other. And the theory is that at some point somebody's connected to the real internet, and then the transaction goes through, or it's completed on the internet. To me, it's kind of weird because like you need somebody else with this device at some point for it to work, and then also at some point you need somebody with one of these devices and an active internet connection for it to work. So I don't know how reliable it is. I'd never heard of this. You learn something new every day. But apparently this mesh thing's been around a while. But they are talking about it as a censorship-resistant type of thing as well, in case internet connections themselves are somehow censored. You've got this alternate network that exists alongside the internet, and at certain points, it connects to the internet and can swap data with the internet, and get information onto the internet or off of the internet. So it's an interesting concept. I mean, from a security standpoint, it's almost kind of cool because you don't have an active internet connection, so therefore you're not as hackable. I see that as a possible strength here, but you're not going to be getting any quick transactions from what I gather in this sort of a system. So, but it's interesting. I wanted to mention it. So anyway, I found these stories on TechBait. Visit TechBait. So as far as the actual conference goes, I haven't seen too much. CoinDesk. Consensus, here we go. Consensus 2018. Anyway, I don't know what you can watch live at this point in time. Who's up at 20 to 6 in the morning? But they have these live streams available. So anyway, during the day, you can just remember, you've got VC people, you've got government, supply chain, security, insurance, enterprise tech, Wall Street, healthcare, business, media. All these people are at this event. This was the 2017, so imagine 2018 is about the same there. So you got Deloitte, Ledger, Block, all these companies. So, I almost wonder why is Jimmy Song even at an event like this where you're basically corporations are interfacing, evil corporations, and he works for a corporation, right? So you could come here and you could watch this conference live. If you click watch live, kind of what I showed yesterday in my quick little video, to let people know they can watch it live. They have these live streams from the different ballrooms at the hotel. Grand Ballroom, Grand Ballroom East, Grand Ballroom West, Trianon Ballroom, Mercury Ballroom, Rendezvous, Regent. So, there may or may not be a conference going on in any one you click on. So the Grand Ballroom, I imagine, is the biggest one. In fact, not sure anything going on. CoinDesk Consensus 2018 Grand Ballroom. Of course it's off air. There's nothing come on at this time. I doubt anything's going on. I'd be surprised. Off air. But this is pretty much how it works, right? Click, and then bang, you can see it. I was watching this on an Android TV box yesterday as well. I was home from work sick yesterday because my daughter reinfected me with the cold, and it was just awful. I still feel crappy, but I'm going to work today, so I got to get this going here. So anyway, I'm not going to take too much more of your time. Anybody who stuck around this long, thank you. I'm going to keep looking at the VeChain price, hoping it comes down. I'm playing chicken with that. I'll probably end up buying high though. And so let's keep an eye on consensus and see if any real ground-shaking news comes out of that, and see how these markets do. Right now, the markets aren't really, which is fine as long as they're not tanking. They're not doing great. They're not doing bad. They're just doing. So look us here at 0.162. Yeah, they're just kind of hanging out, Come on. Right now my coin market cap is so slow on my browser. It takes forever. Bitcoin dominance is at 36.6. Market cap is just over 400 billion. So we'll see what happens here. We'll see what happens. Again, consensus, I don't think consensus is going to cause any immediate effect. I think the effect is going to be after the conference, when everything gets digested, and then as more announcements are made and partnerships are announced and this and that. I think the effect will be later. I know that in other years, the positive market effect came after the conference, not necessarily during. And this is a new year, so who knows what's going to happen. And just remember that Mt. Gox thing is still out there. They're still moving coins around, and so who knows? That guy makes a move and starts dumping lots of Bitcoin. You're going to see all this stuff dump again. So that's also kind of what I'm waiting on, but who knows? Everything's going to dump though. So like if you're buying crypto with crypto, all your crypto is going to dump. So at that point, it doesn't really matter. Like if you've got fiat on the sidelines, that in that case, or something tethered up, in that case, you'd be in a good position. But then again, what do? Do you move stuff into Tether now, thinking that's going to happen? You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if he's going to dump Bitcoin, So to move stuff into Tether now and everything goes up, then basically you've lost value. So again, it's a game of chicken in a way. So anyway, stay safe out there. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.